Hello everyone and welcome! Today I'm going to be doing a little update and making a video that I feel like I should really be posting every day, honestly. And that's giving you all a huge thank you, as the support this year has been absolutely fantastic. I know things have been a little quiet here on the channel as of late when it comes to the amount of uploads, but that does not mean that stuff is not happening behind the scenes. In fact, quite a bit has been going on here in these recent months, so I thought why not take a moment to put together a little update video, kind of a mid-year update, as the last time that I made a video like this, I think was at the beginning of this year. So now that we're already in June, I guess now is as good of time as any to sort of fill you in with what's been going on. First of all, I've got some great videos on the way, including the conclusion of the 125th scale 69 Chevelle. I know I've been taking my sweet time with that project, but I think it's really showing in the finished result. I'm super happy with how that car is turning out. Still a few more hurdles to get over when it comes to installing the LEDs and doing the final assembly, but unless I've managed to really screw something up in the home stretch here, it should be a phenomenal looking car that I look forward to showcasing in an upcoming video. I've also got a number of other projects that I've been chipping away at here and there. Some are already done and just need to be edited, while others I want to make some more progress on or finish entirely before starting work on the video. If you're interested in more frequent updates, I do try and post a lot more over on our social media pages, but I gotta keep a few projects a surprise too, so all I'll say on that is to stay tuned. Also, I just posted a video featuring this garage diorama build. I definitely recommend checking that out if you haven't already. I'm really happy with how it turned out. It was both a fun thing to build and a fun video to make. As I've said, I know these types of diorama builds aren't everyone's cup of tea, but I really do enjoy them, so huge thanks to everyone who's checked out that video. But of course, I've got to give a huge thanks to all of our channel members and Patreon supporters for funding a great deal of the RC madness that I showcase here on the channel. A lot of creators here on YouTube will rely on sponsorships and ad revenue to either in some way fund their projects, or for some who do it full-time, literally pay their bills. But I'm extremely thankful to be at a point currently where we have so many of you chipping in a buck or two, and then some individuals who have gone way above and beyond with some very generous contributions. It's just really nice to not have to rely on how much YouTube decides to pay every month or take a bunch of different sponsorships, particularly if it's something that isn't even related to the topic of this channel. Of course, I do try to make videos that will be as entertaining and informative as possible, but at the same time, it's nice knowing that whether the video gets 1,000 views or 100,000, it really doesn't matter. YouTube doesn't pay the bills around here, it's you who support the channel, and then of course all the great folks who buy the products off of our website, and I am extremely thankful to be in this position. Now with this in mind, when looking at some of the most recent videos that I've posted here on the channel, they have been a little bit more, I guess, on the side of being informational and educational, if you will, consisting of topics that I've received many questions about, whether that be electronics or what plastic model kits will fit certain chassis. Content that, honestly, I would consider to be a little bit more dry and maybe less interesting compared to something like a build video or a car chase scene, for example. But it is information that I know is relevant and has been consistently asked by people who are monetarily supporting the channel. Naturally, I'm going to make sure that I'm putting out videos that are relevant and helpful to them, even more so than what I think is going to get the most views or appeal to the broadest, most generic YouTube viewer possible. All that said though, some of these more informational type videos have actually done really well when it comes to the views, watch time, and bringing on new subscribers, so what do I know? The most recent car chase update and Chevelle update are the two videos I would say I probably had the most fun making, and I would have thought would have had the widest appeal, but they're actually some of the lower viewed videos recently posted here on the channel. Not necessarily what I would have expected, but that's just how it goes sometimes. It's all just about striking a nice balance of what I enjoy doing, what you, the core audience, enjoys, and then what other people on YouTube who might not be familiar with the channel or this niche of the hobby may also enjoy. Like with most things in life, you just kind of have to strike that balance, of course experiment and learn some things here and there. I am working on some more tutorials and more technical information type videos, I guess you could say. They take a long time to make, as I really want to be thorough, and sometimes I have to take some breaks here and there to just not burn out on them. But I'm so thankful that some of these prior videos that I've posted here have been helpful for folks, and I hope these upcoming ones will be no different. One video in particular that I'm really happy with, and is nearing completion at this point, so it should be popping up on the channel relatively soon, is on the topic of utilizing metal or Landau ring and pinion gears in our MA10 axle designs. These are a relatively low-cost option, and while I never designed the MA10 initially to accept these gears, I have heard from some of our customers and Patreon members that these gears will work, and I finally ordered a set for myself, and yes, they do in fact seem to work great. I wouldn't necessarily call it a perfect fit, I'll talk about that more in the video, but perhaps with a little bit of massaging, let's call it, they are a great lower cost and presumably high strength solution. We do have our own gear design that we have available in brass over on our website. The problem though is that these are not manufactured by us in-house, and it's not like we can really justify ordering massive quantities to lower down the price, resulting in them being rather expensive. So if there's a more mass-produced off-the-shelf option that works, even if not perfect, for a much lower cost, that really works out well for everyone. I'm happy to sell products and I always appreciate the support, don't get me wrong, but I'm not going to sit here and try nickel and dime everyone and encourage you all to spend way more on a product that, again, we don't produce in-house and can't make a high enough volumes to really make any sort of significant profit on. We've all got to keep the lights on, of course, but at the end of the day, I'm a hobbyist too, and any opportunity to design these custom 3D printable chassis around pre-existing, inexpensive off-the-shelf hardware and components, let's take that opportunity. Once again, huge shout out to all of you Patreon members for making this possible. Now, should these Orlando parts become discontinued and not available in the future, it's no big deal. It's not like we're reliant upon them. We still have our own gear design, so we can continue to make our own if needed. The magic of 3D printing, no worries about discontinued parts, but I'll have more on that in an upcoming video, which will hopefully prove to be helpful. Now, something that we've been working on quite a bit over these last few months, which isn't exactly the most exciting, but I think is important, and what we've been doing is organizing and making improvements over on our Patreon, as well as getting some new STL files packs ready to post. Now, it's still very much a work in progress, but if you just click the Collections tab here on Patreon, you'll see that we've been working on putting together a bunch of these collections which contain relevant posts. For example, if you're looking for information and STL files related to the CTC01 chassis, you'll find those posts here. Posts related to our FFR SC1 chassis are here, and so on. Still a bit of a work in progress. We're still trying to get things as organized, as good as possible, and in large part thanks to feedback that we've received from a lot of you over on Patreon. Just trying to categorize and optimize stuff as best we can, so it's easier for all of you builders out there to find the parts and information that you need. Patreon does have a search function, so you can search for specific posts, but it's not always the best at getting you what you're looking for. It is what it is. Of course, as always, if you need any help finding something or there's a specific part you're looking for, please don't hesitate to send a message. I've also been going back and updating and improving some of these chassis designs. Nothing really amazing here, just making some minor improvements or corrections where necessary. I know everybody loves seeing new chassis designs and all new builds. In particular, we've got a lot of people interested in this upcoming 4x4 chassis, which will eventually be making its way onto Patreon. Again, I've just been kind of taking my sweet time with this project. I certainly understand liking to see new stuff. However, a lot of my focus right now has been more on refining and improving the stuff that we have currently and getting everything organized before coming out with something that's all new. I guess to kind of relate it to video games, for example, I don't want to be one of those developers that seems to invest all of their time and resources into DLCs and new content instead of making quality of life improvements, bug fixes, optimizations, and stuff like that. I know it's not really exciting, but I just really want to refine and improve some of our current offerings before going all in on releasing new designs, if that makes sense. I certainly understand and appreciate the anticipation. I just would rather release something that's polished, tested, and proven versus just throwing up a bunch of stuff and saying good luck, basically, particularly when you're charging for some of these STL files, even if it's only a few bucks. To be perfectly honest, none of the designs that I've showcased or have posted are 100% perfect. There's always room for improvements, and there's always ways that I'm trying to make them better and better. These chassis designs and DIY projects I like to feature here on the channel are not Legos, they're not Tamiya kits, they're going to require a bit more work and problem solving at times. But with this fact being clear, I do want to try and make things as good as I possibly can, and obviously I myself am a big fan of all of these designs that we have available, as is clearly evidenced by the content that I post here on the channel, so I'm always actively building and tinkering and wanting to build the best possible vehicles that I can, just as much as all of you. But yeah, like I said, been spending a lot of time kind of improving what we have currently, but there is some new stuff on the way. I just want to balance it out with making some improvements and revisions. Apologies for the long wait, but hopefully it will prove to be worth it. Let's go for quality, not quantity. Alright, finally, I want to give a few quick updates related to our online store, shop.makeitrc.com. Now, I'm going to try and resist rambling on too long here, as this is a topic I could probably go on about for substantially longer than I think any one of you would want to hear. Also, I think I may have talked about this in my previous update video, so I'll at least try and keep things brief here. First of all, probably one of the more important things I'd like to bring to your attention is, unfortunately, we are currently not doing any international shipments. Well, at least not without emailing us first. This has unfortunately been the case for quite a while now, maybe several months at this point. This may change before too long here, but the reason for this is, unfortunately, we have had more issues with international shipping this year, like literally more over the last several months than in the entirety of Make It RC's existence combined, which would go back to around 2018. And of course, shipping issues are going to be a problem for any business of basically any size. Sometimes things get lost in shipping, sometimes things get damaged, it happens. Every now and then you have to eat the cost, that's business, that's just how it goes. Unfortunately, when you are a smaller business, you can only eat so much before it really starts to cut into the profits, and long story short, we've just had so many issues shipping internationally this year that we've just put the brakes on it for now. Now, if you're a Patreon supporter or a returning customer or really want to order something, if you can send us a message, we can generally make an exception for you. Apologies for the inconvenience, it's just that I've decided to temporarily just put the brakes on international shipments at the moment. It really is an unfortunate situation, as I know we have many viewers and customers all throughout the world, and international orders did account for a sizable portion of all the orders made on our store. Unfortunately, and almost bizarrely, it's just become like a death by 1,000 cuts type of situation. I'm a little jaded at the moment. I think what we've experienced recently is, to a large extent, bad luck, but it does also appear that I need to step back, do some research, and figure some things out. Fortunately, the last few orders that we've sent out to existing customers and Patreon supporters who have emailed us and asked to ship something internationally have all been successful. And to any other small business owners, please feel free to chime in the comments, but I've been trying to determine what's the best shipping service to use and doing some research, although it just seems like it's one of those situations where, one person says UPS is the best, but then somebody else says, oh no, UPS is garbage. DHL is the best, and then somebody will say DHL is garbage. Then also, as I think I talked about in that prior update video, I've been focusing more this year on creating digital files packs and working on these videos versus putting together physical kits. We do have some chassis kits over on our website, such as our CTC01 design, which has been a very successful product for us since its release, and we've gotten a lot of great feedback from builders. I like having some options available to those who don't have a 3D printer, but with the support just being so phenomenal this year over on Patreon, I've been really taking this as an opportunity to invest more time into some of the aspects of Make It RC that I enjoy the most, such as creating these videos. There's a lot more moving parts, if you will, when you're dealing with a store selling physical items that you need to either have manufactured by another business or produced in-house. You gotta keep track of stock, finances, shipping, taxes, and all of that fun stuff. Meanwhile, all of the tasks related to Patreon and YouTube are done either sitting here at my desk or sitting across the room at the workbench, doing a lot of stuff that I would honestly be doing even if I didn't run a business, except for the fact that once a month I get to cash a check for it. That's just really what I've been focusing on right now. Obviously, things could change in the coming months or coming years, but again, while I have this opportunity, I'm going to take it. Also, hobby-grade 3D printers just seem to be getting better and easier to use while remaining relatively affordable, at least within the context of the RC hobby. For as little as $300, $400, $500, sometimes even less, you can get a printer that's going to be a phenomenal tool for a wide variety of different projects, including a lot of the stuff that I showcase here on the channel. But anyways, guys, I don't want to ramble on too long here. I just wanted to do a quick little update on what I've been working on and some of the stuff that you can expect to see in the future. As always, a huge thanks to all of you for watching, and I'll see you next time.